What is up today, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of rigging a dragon in Maya. Now, in the past video, we just kind of set up our model to be rigged. We cleaned up our geometry, renamed it, and just made it very nice and organized. So now we're going to start working on some back joints, neck joints, throw the hip in there, and we'll probably do the head as well. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so to start off, we need to get to our Create Joint tool. So we're going to change the Modeling tab to Rigging. And then we will go up to Skeleton and Create Joints. There's our tool right there. Now all you have to do is click with the tool active and you've created a joint. Boom, got it. Now, if you just hold down Shift and click, you can create a straight line of joints. Now our joints here are kind of hard to see. It really just looks like a straight line. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Display, and then we'll go down to Animation and Joint Size. And this will give us the ability to change the size of our joint so we can actually see what we're working with here. Now, increasing the size here doesn't affect the joint or anything. It just makes it easier for us to see. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is move our entire joint system into the kind of the hips area of our dragon. This is where we're going to put our hip joints. This is where our cog is going to be. So we're going to go right in the middle here. Alrighty, so then what we're going to do is rotate the joints down so that they remain in the exact middle of the character. Now you see that our joint chain here is a straight line, so some of them don't stay inside of the dragon. So we have to adjust some. Now it's perfectly okay to translate X, but you cannot translate Y or Z. Honestly, not sure why, but that's the rule. And the easiest way to make sure you're only translating an X is to go up to the channel box, select Translate X, and middle mouse. That way you're only controlling that variable. So now what I'll do is I'll go through each of my joints and make sure that they're in the middle of these like slabs of the dragon's body. The way I'm going to rig this is that each joint will control each slab that it's in the middle of. And I really do this because I don't like to weight paint all too much, and I think it's a cool style, so it's kind of what I like to do, and it makes it really simple. It's a simple rig. So what we'll do is we'll go through here and just keep rotating and only translating an X, so that our joints stay in the middle of these slabs. And you can even go back into perspective and turn on the X-ray so that you can see that the joints are indeed right there in the middle of the dragon. Select all of my joints that we just made, and then I will go Modify, Freeze Transforms. Alright, now that those are frozen, we're going to go up to our joints and we're going to start renaming them. So the naming convention is placement, what it is, the number, and what kind of joint is it. So in this case, the placement is center. It's in the center of the character. It's not left or right. So we'll put CT underscore, and then I'll put spine because it's our spine, and then underscore 01, it's our first joint, and then underscore bind because this is going to be a bind joint. Now we're going to use the same naming convention going all the way through until our very last one, joint 10. And that's going to be CT underscore spine underscore 10 underscore waist. It is not a bind joint. This joint is just kind of there to complete the spine. It's not going to be animated, rotated, or anything. It's just going to be influenced by spine 09. Alrighty, so now we're going to create the hip joint, and that one's going to be pretty easy. So for the most part, we're just going to take our spine that we created, we're going to duplicate it, and then we will delete spine 02 to spine 10, because we don't need them, we just need the one. And we did this because we want our hip joint to be right on top of our spine 01 bind. And there's no better or faster way than to just duplicate it and rename it. They're in the exact same spot. So we will change the name to CT underscore hip underscore 01 underscore bind. Now, even though there's only the one, it still helps to just put 01. Keep the same kind of 4-part naming convention. Now, even though we want it in the exact same spot, we still want to be able to see it compared to our spine. So we will go to the channel box, click on the radius, and increase that so that we can see that this joint will be a little bit bigger than our spine. We can tell the difference between the two. Alrighty, now we're going to go and create the neck. And it's pretty simple, pretty much what we just did for the back. So let's do it. So I'll go to Skeleton, Create Joint, get my Create Joint tool, click down to create a joint, hold Shift to make my straight chain of joints. Then I'm going to put this in the middle of my neck, and my neck is going to be these top 3 slabs of geometry. And I will use the Translate X little trick we did with the channel box to make sure that these are all only translating an X and in the middle of their respective slabs. And we're going to go ahead and put the waist joint at the very end of the neck, right at the base of the head. So we're going to go and rename these. It's again the same like format of where it is, what it is, number, and bind or waist. So in this case, we're going to have CT underscore neck underscore 01 underscore bind all the way down to an 04 waist. And then we will select our entire joint chain for the neck, go modify, freeze transforms. So my head looks like it's got a lot going on here, but really it's going to be just this sphere that is kind of like the head. And the top part where the eyes and the upper teeth and the horns, that's all just going to move along with the sphere. And then the bottom jaw, I'm going to have like a separate control for. So let's do it. Let's create our head joint. Get our create joint tool again, skeleton, create joints. And then I'll just click, shift, click, and boom, there is my super easy head joint. Now I'm going to put it in place right at the base of the head where the neck ended. Then I'll use the rotate tool to rotate it so it's kind of like from the base to the top of the head, kind of as in the middle as I can get it. Then we'll rename them CT underscore head underscore 01 underscore bind. And then the other one will be CT underscore head underscore 2 underscore waist. We'll grab it all, freeze transforms. Alrighty, so now that we've made our back, our hips, our neck, and our head, now we're just kind of gonna go through real quick and make sure that we have all the correct values. Granted, we did freeze our transforms on everything, but there will still be values, but we want to make sure we have values where we should have them and values are not where we should not have them, if that makes any sense. So let's go through here and double check everything. So we'll start with our hips. So the hips are allowed to have all three translates. They just don't happen to have an X right now, but no rotates and scale. So we're all good there. Now for the spine, our first one can have X, Y, and Z translates, but nothing in rotate and scale. Now the children of the spine, like each following joint, can only have translate X. So we just want to go through here and make sure that that is indeed what we have. So our spine is looking good with only translate X in the 02 bind through 10 waist. Now we're going to go and check our neck. It's the exact same. The 01 bind can have X, Y, and Z translates, but no rotate and scale. And then the 2 through 4 are only allowed to have X and translate. So let's check it out. See, look, our neck 03 bind had a random little rotate Y in there. So we're going to have to go through and freeze our neck again. Just go freeze transforms, get rid of that. And now our neck is clean. Now we'll do the same for the head. The base can have translate XYZ, but the top can only have translate X, and we look good there. And that's been our value check. And overall, guys, now we have our back, our hips, our neck, and our head. We did a value check. We made sure everything looks good, and everything does indeed look awesome. So that's been it for this one, guys. I hope you guys got some good information out of this, and yeah, be sure to save. And next time, I think we'll be starting with some leg joints. So yeah, look forward to that, and I will see you guys in the next part 3 of rigging a dragon in Maya. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. See you guys later.